Hello, I'm Jonita Mullins. I'm sitting here in the Founders Place Community Garden, sharing with you the story I wrote for Chicken Soup for the Soul, the American Spirit, in honor of the anniversary of the September 11th attacks on America. I'd like to read you my story because it took place right here in this garden. Our Victory Garden. Our 100-year-old historic neighborhood in Muskogee, Oklahoma is, I suppose, typical of neighborhoods all over America. Neighbors wave at each other when we're out and about, and we sometimes visit over the back fence too. We call out greetings when we gather on our front porches to watch the sky when the tornado sirens sound, or we sit on our porch swings and enjoy a free concert when Jermaine is visiting his mother and playing his sax for her. Occasionally we gather for a neighborhood association meeting or one of our fall garden parties that give us a chance to talk about our concerns and share some good barbecue. We had gathered for such an event just a few days after the September 11th, 2001 attacks, although I wondered along with other officers of the association if anyone would come. Would anyone want to picnic under the 100-year-old oak tree? Or enjoy the music of our local blues band, or sit on lawn chairs and blankets and chat amiably with each other about grandchildren, the weather, or our own fall gardens. We set up the grill for the hot dog and iced down the soda, we call it pop in Muskogee, and waited. A street maintenance crew set up barricades at each end of the block to keep out through traffic. Soon a long, shiny red fire engine pulled up to the curb in front of the garden. We had invited the fire department to present fire safety materials to the kids, something arranged long before September 11th. How could we know that we had invited our new heroes? Then it happened. Slowly, people began to gather. At first, it was a tiny trickle of neighbors who lived in the same block as our garden. They brought blankets and potato salad and brownies and pictures from the last neighborhood gathering. Kids started scrambling over the fire engine, their first time to seeing one so close. Then the trickle of people became a stream, and the stream became a flood as those who remembered the party left to knock on the doors of other families to remind them to come. We are fortunate in my neighborhood to have a wonderful mix of colors and cultures. Soon white grandmothers were scooping up African American babies to tickle and cuddle, and the Asian American kids were playing tag with the Native American kids. Fathers helped their toddlers up the steps of the fire engine that now looked like a strange new creature with dozens of arms and legs of every size, shape, and color sticking out of it. The firemen patiently explained the different apparatus and let the kids turn on the lights, but not the siren. The hot dogs were about done, so the district's president gathered folks around our makeshift stage and asked for a moment of silence in remembrance of September 11th's victims and heroes. We wiped the tears from our eyes. One of our community's own residents had lost a son in the Pentagon attacks. It hit home. It hurt. It made us stop and appreciate the simple pleasure of sharing hot dogs, potato chips, coleslaw, and cake with family, neighbors, friends, and heroes of our own. After we'd eaten more than we should, we relaxed on blankets and lawn chairs and listened to Shy Willie croon the blues. Sad songs about love and loss fit the mood that settled upon us with dusk's shadows. Then Olivia, a 2-year-old blonde pixie, stood up on her family's blanket and began to dance. She scrunched her eyes tightly shut, chocolate cookie crumbs freckling her mournful little face, and she swayed to the music as if she deeply felt a sadness that she couldn't possibly have understood. We gently laughed at her earnest, soulful dance, but we knew what she was feeling. We felt it too. Sitting there among my neighbors that evening, I thought of the victory gardens my mother told me about from World War II. People grew vegetables as a patriotic necessity, their way of helping with the war effort. We had planted flowers in our little garden, but on this evening it became our victory garden because something even more wonderful was growing there. Families made up of every race and age, faith, and background had gathered to share a special moment. It seemed like the worst of times, but in that moment we were victorious over intolerance, violence, and hate. We might have been sad and a little frightened, but we were united as families, neighbors, and citizens. And if in gathering with our children that evening we taught them tolerance and unity and who our real heroes are, then that was our victory.